Hello everyone, my name is Yuki, welcome to this channel, and today we're going to be drawing characters from the movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it first and feel free to come back, because yeah, all the spoilers will be mentioned in this video. Okay, so all the characters that I chose to be in this spread was from the ending of this movie. So yeah, again, spoilers. So in the ending where Gwen grabs the whole band together to like save Miles, I wanted to have all the characters from that scene. Now, it didn't really turn out that way because, like, for example, this scene right here, or this character right here, the cat Spider-Man. No, Spider-Cat. Spider-Cat. I just needed like a perfect size character for this part right here because Peter B. Parker took so much space and Spider-Cat was the one that fit in perfectly. Now I could have used Spider-Pig probably, but I just couldn't find good enough references that I like, and they were Spider-Noir and Spider-Pig weren't in the movie that much, so maybe when the next movie comes out, I would get a chance to actually draw them in here. So I decided to color Spider-Cat first, just so that I get an easy win, but of course, it's never that easy. Okay, so I lost the footage of the coloring process for Spider-Cat. I think I accidentally stopped recording or something, so it's a good thing we caught it before we did anything else. And yeah, here's the setup. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here for tonight. Anyway, yeah, so I will continue this spread tomorrow night, and hopefully we won't lose any more footage. Okay, voiceover Yuki back. So yeah, that happened, and this is a new night. So yeah, this whole spread was pretty intimidating, and the first thing that I color, I lost the footage of. So it wasn't looking that good, but you know, we persevered. And of course, the next thing that I drawed, I totally messed up the coloring. Like, I didn't have like a marker that fit Spider India's color palette or skin tone properly, and he needed to be more red, so I used actual red marker and it became too dark and it became a whole thing. Okay, more on him later, but the next character that I started working on is Spider-Bite, and I really like Spider-Bite. Even if she only had like 3 minutes of screen time on the movie. So one thing that I find really interesting about Spider-Bite is her initial reaction to Miles. When they first meet, they had that sparks fight moment where they have their spider senses tingling and they have that facial reaction where they go like, "You're like me," like from the first movie. And I find that really interesting because of all the spider people, Miles only had this reaction to one person. And I wonder if that means anything, or were they just trying to set up the payoff later for when she helps Miles kind of escape from Miguel. But yeah, I like that they had that connection, even if they only talked to each other for like 3 seconds. They were able to set up like Miles kind of understands her when she says like, "I'd rather be here," and he's like, "Yeah, I get it." So I find that really cool because that's kind of what happened in the first movie, where they didn't even need context. They all just had this feeling of connection, and I'm glad that she's part of that final band in the ending. And yeah, that's why she's on this thread. Now, as for like the whole coloring and art process, this is where I got my momentum in this spread. Like, I was really happy with how she turned out, like really pushing those colors, the pinks and the blue together. And then I bring out my white gel pen to add like little details, and I wanted to like emphasize how pixelated she is as an avatar. I think she ended up looking more sparkly than anything, but I still like the final results. Oh, I forgot to mention that her name is Mario Kess, and I really like the part where she tries out different hairstyles. Like, that could be a whole spread in itself. Okay, so you guys get a little behind the scenes right here. And yeah, I have stopped bothering organizing my markers by color because I know every time I use them, it ends up like this. So yeah, I need to push them to the side so that I can flip my sketchbook and start working on Peter B. Parker and Mayday Parker. So yeah, I have yet to mention, but I've watched this movie twice in the cinema, and I probably wouldn't watch it again, but you know, I have responsibilities. Anyway, I probably might even get this movie once it comes out in streaming, which I never do, but I just love this movie so much, I might just actually buy it. Anyways, let's talk about Mayday. Now, Mayday is just adorable. She is the sweetest little character. Yeah, I really like her interactions with Miguel and Spider-Punk, even with Miles and like how awkwardly he holds her. But yeah, she's such a sweet baby, spider baby. So even while looking for references for Mayday, this scene right here, like a few frames after it, like her expression changes to like a look of determination of getting out of her baby carrier, and that just gives her so much personality. The animators did such a well with her like acting. Yeah, but Mayday, here it is. Like, I had such a hard time with coloring Mayday, and then of course this happens, which actually turns out to be like a little blessing in disguise, because it made me have to like wait for, you see, that white ink to like dry so that I can work on it, and leaving it alone and working on other parts of the drawings actually helped me. So right here, it kind of still is going through an ugly phase, and yeah, because I had to like wait for her like nose area to dry off, I worked on her baby carrier and other parts of the sketch, and letting that marker ink dry and like settle actually showed me that like, oh, it's actually not that bad. And the mistake in her nose actually made me take out my acrylic markers, and I think the use of acrylic markers really made her coloring pop. So yeah, so because again I had to wait for those markers to dry, I started working on Peter's pink robe, and I think waiting and seeing the colors settle in really helped with that sketch, and I was able to make all these little highlights and emphasize the colors, like that she's in the shadow, and she turned out really well. I hope I was able to explain that. Yeah, I had no idea how to like explain what was happening in words, you know. But yeah, a similar thing happened with Peter B. Parker's face, and I think I really need to just like accept that like art really does go through an ugly phase, and you might have like a slight panic attack, but just keep going. And yeah, like right here, look at this, like I was like freaking out. You'll see in a minute, but in a moment he has like this black eye. But I was following the reference, and that's kind of how the colors were laid out, and it's like, okay, just leave it alone, let's focus on the hair right now. And yeah, eventually like I just kept adding and adding more ink to it, adding more highlights, and using the acrylic markers for some parts, and like using the color pencils to darken some other parts. And like, yeah, every time it was like I didn't know what else to do, I would focus on a different part and then come back to it. And sometimes you just have to like look at it from afar and be like, oh, okay, it's actually not that bad. It actually kind of looks like a character. So yeah, I'm really happy how Peter V and Mayday turned out. But then I was not that happy with the lower part of the sketch. They kind of looked out of place. Okay, so here I tried fixing Pab's highlights. They're not actual highlights, but he did have this purple highlights in the art style, I want to say. And I ended up, so I tried putting like this gold outline to make him like pop from the page, and tried using acrylic markers to like, I don't know, just try to fix his skin. And at the end, I kind of just thought that I'll come back to him later on and see what else I can do with him once I'm finished with the rest of the spread. So here I decided to finish off Spider Cat, because he was looking kind of bland after finishing Mario and Peter and Mayday. So I decided to give him more highlights and actually finish his like whiskers and details. And I gave this part I used the background of Spider Cat, which was like the Spider Society background. And yeah, time to sleep. Okay, so this is a new night, I believe, and I started out with Gwen Stacy. And one of the most beautiful parts of the movies, I believe, is Gwen Stacy's universe. And her universe is like this kind of watercolory universe, and I kind of wanted to bring that to this page. Even though I didn't use any watercolors, I kind of wanted that effect. I also picked a more emotional pose for Gwen, and I feel like for most of the movie, yeah, she was like this whole emotional mess, and I felt like that represented her a lot. So yeah, that's why she's kind of sad. So another thing that I really liked about this particular sketch is that I think that my art style was able to actually come through. It's not just a copy of the original or the official art, and I'm really happy about that. Now, a lot of things went right for this particular sketch. Like, I didn't feel that much pain about like the ugly stage. I felt like, oh, she actually looks good like from the get-go. And there were a few mishaps, but they actually turned out to be like, again, blessings in disguise. So like, for one thing, the color pencils, they actually like bled through when I use some of the alcohol markers. And what happened was that it actually helped with that watercolor feel that I was going for. So that was pretty neat. And another thing was the Posca pen that I used. Like it bled. So like there was a big splatter of white Posca paint on her hair. And so I just like spread it with my fingers, and it gave her hair like this translucent white covering, and I felt like that really did well for her, looked kind of cool on her hair. So yeah, lots of good things happen with Gwen. Okay, so Penny Parker. Yeah, Penny Parker might just be my favorite character for like almost no reason at all. Like, it could be because I am half Japanese and half Filipino, and Penny is Japanese. That could be one of the reasons, but I think the main reason is because I love her voice actress, Kimiko Glenn. Yeah, I just love that person so much. So yeah, Penny is my favorite character. And I think she is the main reason why I wanted the whole band of characters to be on my spread, just so I could draw her. Now, please tell me, why is Penny so sad in this movie? Like, what happened to Penny? I need to know what happened to her. Like, look at her. Like, she's like so depressed. I mean, was it just because of the whole Miles thing? Like, was she just so emotional over it? Like, even Gwen is like not that affected. Like, she's affected. Gwen was affected, but I don't think she's as affected as Penny. So what happened to Penny? Please, what did you do to her? Okay, Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk was MVP of this movie. Oh my gosh, like, to be honest, the first time I watched it, I couldn't really understand what he was saying. Mostly because the quality of the sound in the cinema was kind of off. Like, I couldn't even understand what Gwen was trying to say in the beginning of the movie, because there was just something wrong with the audio, honestly. And that made understanding Hobie a little bit more difficult than usual. So, the second time I watched it though, like, I had watched all the clips on TikTok, and yeah, it just made me love Hobie Brown even more. Now, for the drawing, I think Hobie goes through one of the more ugly phases. Like, I think even like the final sketch is kind of like jarring. But I chose a reference that was in black and white, and then by the time coloring came through, I was like, I don't want to do a black and white sketch. I'm gonna do one of the more pink and blue. And I found a different reference that had that color scheme and tried to duplicate that coloring on this sketch, and it kind of works, but I kind of realized later on that the proportions are a bit off. Like, even in the initial sketch, I had like a really hard time trying to get him down, and to the point where he like demanded to be on a different piece of paper. True to his character, Hobie does not follow the rules. He's his own character, his own art style, and we love him for it. Okay, Miles Morales. How often do we get a lovable main character? I mean, I think it's more often than not that we like side characters a little bit more than the main character, but Miles is just the best main character ever for me. Yeah, like, I just love him. I love what they did with his parents. The people next to me, I believe, speak Spanish, and they were laughing at all the Spanish jokes. I understand a little bit Spanish because my hometown has like, it's like a Filipino Spanish dialect, so I could like understand every like at least like one word in every sentence. So that was amazing. And yeah, so by the time I got to Miles, I was a little bit more confident with the coloring, but I still had those moments of like, oh my gosh, this is not gonna work out for me. But at this point, I was able to like trust the process. So yeah. Okay, so the scene that I chose for Miles was that ending scene when his facial expression changes from being scared and uncertain to this eerie calm and like determination to like fight back and get out of that situation he is in. And yeah, that's the scene that I chose. I don't know why this spread is kind of like pretty sad. But that just means that I need to make another spread where they're all happy. Speaking of future spreads, there's still so many characters to draw, like particularly Miles's parents. Like, they're the best superhero parents ever, probably because they're the only ones that are alive. But yeah, so much more potential for Spider-Verse. So I was still trying to figure out what to do with that blank white space besides Miles. So I tried drawing the radioactive spider from the sketchbook scene, and that sequence was like the best. It was Miles's very own sketchbook tour, and I love it so much. As an artist, that scene just brought me so much joy. And yeah, it made me really want to get drawing on my sketchbook. So the next thing I did was another sequence that I love was the Lego sequence. So I decided to put a Lego Spider-Man in it. And yeah, that scene was just so much fun. It brought me it made me laugh. It made me remember all the Lego movies that I watched and that little beep boop beep boop. It was just so much fun. And honestly, this was the most easiest thing. Yeah, so the background, I just decided to do the background from the promotional stuff. And yeah, basically, I just colored the whole spread purple, try to bring consistency to the whole spread. And I didn't really plan that well, so I couldn't even get like the spirals right. But here you can see I decided to just color the whole thing purple again, just to bring a little bit more consistency. If I had planned this through a bit better, I would have added more yellow in the other page just to brighten it up a bit, but it's fine. It turned out good. Okay, hi guys. Now the spread seems to be done, but I don't think I'm quite done with it yet. First off, I'm still a little bit disappointed of how Spider India turned out. Like, it's fine, but it doesn't really go well with the rest of the page. So I think I'm gonna cover him up. And another thing is, like, Spider-Punk clashes too much with this spread. Like, Miles Morales deserves to be the star of this spread. You know, he deserves to be the main character that he is. And so I think I'm going to take Kobe and cover up Paviter. Hope I'm saying that right, Paviter. And yeah, that way, like, he's still there, but I think Kobe goes better on this side. And then I'm gonna try to do Paviter justice on this spread. So I'm kind of nervous, but let's do this. I think we can do it. Okay, Pav. I'm just gonna call him Pav because I have a hard time pronouncing his name. I'm so sorry, but I really do love this character, and I really wanted to do him justice. And I know a lot of people love him too, so yeah, I needed a second chance on drawing this character. So yeah, this character was pure sunshine. I am so happy that he's coming back for the next movie. Yeah, I was just smiling the whole time that he was on the screen. That just comes to show you that when you really like what you're drawing, you can spend hours. Like, I spent another extra probably 2 hours just to get him right. And that's what happens when you really love the things that you're drawing. And I think that's where the value of fan art lies. Like, it gives you so much motivation to actually draw, to show your love of the characters, to learn about art. Like, I learned so much about color just from this spread alone. Like, the fact that I was able to improve so much with this character just after drawing a few characters before it and learning how to like blend the colors together. Like, this is a big improvement from my first attempt. So I think fan art is gonna be one of my main content for this channel, and I think I'm gonna dedicate a whole sketchbook just for fan art. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This took a lot of time and effort, so if you liked the video, please give it a like and tell me in the comments what kind of fan art you want to see. Okay, I am finally done with this sketchbook spread. Now, a little bit of self-critique for myself. I think I need to work on my composition. Everyone is competing to be the main focus. And I kind of think it's because I love every single character, and therefore I kind of gave my all to each and every character, and they're all now just kind of competing with each other. But
I feel like that was kind of what the movie was like, you know, like you didn't know which character was gonna be your favorite each time a new character pops up. You really loved them. So, I think one way I could like fix that is probably give each character their own spread, and that way there can be more variations to the pieces. Like, for example, Gwen, I want to give her her own page and like focus on her fashion sense, her body pauses, like she's like a ballerina. So there's so much more Spider Verse art that I can make. But that I might take a bit of a break from it for now and come back to it someday. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with what happened with the coloring. I really pushed myself. I feel like there's a lot of improvement happening just throughout the days that I worked on this. So, again, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, have a good day. Keep creating and all that stuff.